But considering Jesus' posture of humility and confidence together can guide us to practice that posture in our lives too, in preparation for whatever moments do come to us, whatever moments God gives us on our journeys. God gives us this story in part to shape how we follow. For me personally, holding together humility with confidence has been a kind of ongoing growing edge for me. I remember feeling a mix of hope and intimidation as I was preparing for my ordination interviews a handful of years ago. And as I was preparing, a friend shared an affirmation that has stayed with me. I think it comes from Brené Brown. She told me, as you go into that room, remember this. Don't shrink. Don't puff up. Stand on your sacred ground. What wisdom there is in that. Don't shrink. Don't look down at the ground because you're on a donkey instead of a horse. Don't pull back in fear from the journey that's ahead of you. Don't shrink. And don't puff up. Don't start to imagine that you're actually on a horse or that the crowd's cheering today makes you special. Don't forget that your life is interconnected with many other people who have given themselves and shared themselves and made a way for you. Don't puff up. And most of all, stand on your sacred ground. You're in God's arms. Be rooted in the ground where God's placed you and keep your head up to see what's ahead, knowing that God walks at your side. Don't shrink. Don't puff up. Stand on your sacred ground. So I invite you to just feel your feet on the ground for a minute. The sacred ground that you too are invited to stand on, that God gives each of us as we walk our journeys. The disciples, the crowd, they might have been wondering to Jesus, where are you headed? And Jesus, fully human and fully divine, he moves toward the city on the sacred ground of his borrowed donkey, close to the earth with his head facing forward, trusting in God's unfolding. As we enter Holy Week, we have a similar question. Where are we headed? As we do our best to follow Jesus, as you do your best to follow Jesus, may you keep your feet firmly planted on that sacred ground. May you stay aware that you're riding on a borrowed donkey. May you hold fast to your inner knowing that wherever you're headed, you belong in each moment to God. Amen.